Hola, turubem, konnichiwa, hello, como estas, aloha, what it do? Welcome to the J-Boy Sports Podcast. I appreciate you for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I love to have conversations with people in the comment section. Also, please hit that notification bell because if you don't, sometimes you miss some of the videos, and I know you want to get all the videos, so make sure you hit that notification bell. The TWolves versus the Warriors. So Steph Curry is still out. And to that extent, I'm not trying to be funny, but of course, whatever you think happened is what happened. But it's not quite that simple because this was actually a very, very good game. I watched it from beginning to end, and I have to say I was entertained. More so than I thought I should have been. Because you think to yourself, no Steph Curry, this is a wrap. But I have to give the Warriors some credit. And you know what happened? What really happened is, first of all, Jimmy Butler played like playoff Jimmy. So he showed up. Right? Jimmy Butler showed up. He had 33 points. He was 7 for 9 from the free throw line, 2 for 4 from 3, 12 for 26 from the field. Also had 7 boards, 7 assists. So Jimmy came out and did what he had to do, which you got to give Jimmy credit for. Kuminga also came in off the bench and provided a lot of well-needed support and backup. And I just want to say, Kuminga did do his thing, right? Kuminga had 30 points off the bench. He was 3 for 4 from the three-point line, 11 for 18 from the field. He had 6 boards, had 3 assists, had 2 blocks. He played a heck of a game. I watched it. Kuminga was really balling out. But what annoys me about this performance is, and this is why I personally have a problem with Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr takes people that have a lot of talent. I guess he develops them somewhat to a certain point until he no longer feels like they're useful in his system when Steph is playing. Jonathan Kuminga is an all-star. He's an all-star level talent. The Wolves are a very good team. You saw what they did to LeBron James and Luka Doncic the round before. Completely dang near shut them down. Beat them very easily, right? The Warriors without Steph gave the T-Wolves a run for their money. More so, they provided more of a fight than I saw in some of the games that the Lakers played them. Without Steph Curry. Why is that? Well, because Jimmy Butler had 30 points and Jonathan Kuminga had 30 points. And Kuminga, when you let him play his game, is tough. But when Steph is playing, you bench Kuminga so that, you can do more for Steph, which I kind of get, but it's also like, why is it that you can't figure out a way, if you're such a great coach, to make it so that Steph and Kuminga can play at the same time and Jimmy Butler can play at the same time? No. Steve Kerr has to supplement it by adding people that are nowhere near as talented, and I'm not saying they're not good, but nowhere near as talented. He has to input people that are nowhere near as talented because he can't make it work otherwise. Right? So you need people in there that literally just, I don't know, help. I don't even want to say what I was going to say because it was kind of ridiculous. But, Steph is a big boy. But for some reason, you need people in there to massage Steph's ego. And I'm not even saying this is on Steph. This is on Steve Kerr. He can't figure out how to make it all work. You had Jordan Poole, Draymond Green, the wild mongoose, orangutan, flying squirrel hybrid. Falcon punched him in the face. Now Jordan Poole's not on the team. And Jordan Poole is a wild mongoose himself. However, he's a good player. I mean, on the Warriors, he was very good. He can score. I'll give him that. Even though he's crazy. As far as out on the court, he's just a wild animal. As far as he's just doing whatever between the leg. He's like a fake Steph, right? So you get rid of him. You had James Wiseman for the future. He was like the second pick in the draft. You had to get rid of him. And I still, to this day, don't really understand that one. You need big people. He's really big, really talented, and you couldn't figure out how to make him a player after like 2-3 years. I mean, you let him go quick for a second rounder. You wasted that man's career. So, I mean, there's just some players I feel like, and now I'm looking at Kuminga. Kuminga's probably out of here after this year. It looks like he's out of here. So, why do you keep having some talent and then getting rid of it? To me, that's on Steve Kerr, but I know I'm going off on another tangent here, but, that's neither here nor there. But when I see Jonathan Kuminga play this well, I get irritated because it reminds me of how they lost Jordan Poole, how they lost James Wiseman, and it just, these are people that could have helped take you into the future. Also, they lost Kevin Durant, and you know who they decided to keep? Draymond Bummy behind Green. I get it. Draymond Green's impact can be elite. I understand that. But you're going to sit up here and tell me that you can't use other really, really good players and get rid of Draymond Green? You let Klay Thompson go, for Draymond? I personally don't love it, but, who am I, I guess? Who am I? But back to this game in particular, Jonathan Kuminga balled out. Jackson had 7. Bummy Green had 2 points, 2 bummy behind points, 2 bummy behind rebounds, 4 bummy behind assists, 5 turnovers. This is the guy you guys decided to keep, by the way. So when Steph is not playing, let's be clear, he's a bum. All right? Bummy. He is butt cheeks. When I say butt to butt cheeks, he's a bum. He's butt cheeks. He's terrible. He's only good when Steph is around or Klay Thompson. There is no more Klay Thompson in Golden State. It's just Steph. And when Steph doesn't play, Draymond is worthless. All right? You heard me? You heard me? Worthless. All right? So let's just get that off the board right there. Gary Payton only had 2 points. He didn't really do much. Kevon Looney came in just for fun, for kicks and giggles, I guess. I don't know. Trace Jackson Davis played 11 minutes, has 7 points, but he only played 11 minutes, and they started him. Again, is it Draymond that's the wild mongoose, or is it Steve Kerr? What was that? What was that? What are those squirrels with the big eyes that was in the Madagascar movie? That's what Steve Kerr is. He looks like a wombat. Is that a wombat? Maybe Steve Kerr is a wild wombat. That might be. Maybe Steve Kerr is a wild wombat. Because I don't understand what the heck he's doing out there. I don't get it. Buddy Hield had 14. So, he chipped in, did well. So, I mean, they made the game close. They played hard. They fought hard. They played really good defense. The game was like 55-56 in the third quarter. So, I mean, parts of it at least. And so they mucked up the game, made it tough, and really, tried to put the clamps on. And like I said, you got a great contribution from Jimmy and Kuminga, who Kuminga won't be there seemingly next year. So I know I went on a rant about Draymond and Steve Kerr, but those things come back into my mind when I see stuff like this. But on the other end, the Warriors played them tight. They were close. They played them tough. They hung in there. I got to give them credit. But ultimately, the Wolves just had too much. Julius Randle had a good game. He didn't shoot well from 3, but he was very aggressive. He had 24 points. He had 10 rebounds, 12 assists. Triple-double watch from my boy Julius Randle. And just to give you the backstory on how I feel about Julius Randle, I keep Julius Randle close to my heart because he's a Kobe disciple. Y'all know how I feel about Kobe. All right? Kobe taught this man up, coached him up. To this day, Randle still has fond memories of Kobe, uses some of the things that he taught him, and you're seeing it show on the court. He's showing you that he learned from the Mamba, what he learned from the Mamba, his own Mamba mentality, right? Jaden McDaniels had 15 points. He continues excellent play in the postseason. But I got to say, Jaden McDaniels looks like a YN to me, a young ninja. He just looks like he would stab you and not even worry about it on the streets. Like he looks kind of crazy. But he's a really good basketball player, so you got to give him credit. But he has no emotions out there. 0. Rudy Gobert is still butt cheeks. He's terrible. 9 points, 13 boards. I know he had 4 blocks too. So Rudy kind of played a Rudy type game, Rudy Poo type game. Conley's just out there to like lead and play defense, I guess, because he's not really killing it in the box score, but they're winning. So I'm going to leave him alone. I'm going to let him live. DiVincenzo, I guess, is the secondary version of that, but DiVincenzo only had 2 off the bench. My boy Naz Reid shot well, but really didn't score a lot, so he only had 9 points. And Edwards had 36. I think he had like 15 points in the third quarter or something crazy like that. I think it was the third quarter. So he was 13 for 28, which is good. 5 for 14 from 3, which is not that great, but all right. 5 for 8 from the free throw. You got to shoot better than that from there. But, he really balled out when they needed him. Him and Julius Randle stepped up. Josh McDaniels did a good job. So they have some really good, they had a good team concept. I felt like when I was watching the game, the Wolves didn't know where it was coming from at first. They didn't know who to stop. Buddy Hield, chipped in some threes when Jimmy Butler wasn't doing his thing and when Kuminga wasn't doing his thing. So they kind of had to lock down where it was coming from. And once they kind of figured out who it is that was hurting them, they played a lot better defense. And then, obviously, as far as this game is concerned, you still got the two best players on the court for the most part. And I know Jimmy Butler is up there also, but, you know, for the most part, you got Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels versus Buddy Hield, Kuminga, and Jimmy Butler. And so I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that combination that the Wolves got, you know, most of the time. You just are. So it was a good game. I thought that the Warriors hung in there as much as they could. Once the Wolves kind of figured out exactly where they were getting hurt at, they started to lock in. And Edwards realized there was nobody on the floor that was big enough to guard him. And then once Draymond Green, I forgot to say this, Draymond Green did get in foul trouble and ended up fouling out. And when that happened, you know, there was just nothing left for them really to compete with. So it just kind of is what it is. You expected this to happen. It was a much better game than I personally anticipated. And, you know, this series, they're saying Steph might not come back until Game 6. If Steph doesn't come back till Game 6, this series is over, man. It's over. This was the game I thought they had to steal. Golden State couldn't steal it. They got one more chance. They lose this next game, the series is over. They're not coming back. Even if Steph comes back, that's a tall task to put on him. And I feel bad for Steph, man. I really do. Because of all the OG guys that are left, I think LeBron should retire personally, but that's a video for another day. I actually think KD should get ready to retire as well, if I'm being honest with you. I think the only difference between the two of them is I think KD is comfortable just being a piece on a team. And I don't think LeBron James is comfortable being a piece. I think he wants all the attention, all the glory, all the credit for everything, anywhere he goes. So to that extent, you definitely need LeBron James to retire. And as a Laker fan, he can't retire fast enough for me. But I think KD could be a piece on a team. I'll give him that. But it's got to be a team with solid leaders that'll hold him to the fire. You know, make him give effort not just on scoring, but also playing defense and moving the ball and all that good stuff, right? Fitting in with the team, hustling, all that stuff. But I feel bad for Steph because of those OGs, he was the last one that had a chance to win potentially a ring on his own merit. Now, I don't expect that, even if he was playing, I don't expect the Warriors to win a chip. As far as his series goes, I don't know. I didn't see enough of him playing in it, but he was killing it for the time that he did play. So it's sad to see that he won't be able to finish this run, and this may be his last real run. I don't know. So I feel bad for Steph in that way. And of the three players between Steph, KD, and LeBron, the one I actually really like is Steph, me personally. So it's a little biased there too, but he also was the last one standing and the one that I felt like, to me, he's the guy that's played the game the right way the most out of those three. That's a video for another day, though, so we'll leave that there. But this is what happened in this game. Feel bad for Steph. Warriors got one more shot. They don't win the next game, it's over. You know, their season is done, and it's a shame because they really had a nice little Cinderella thing going, and we didn't get to see him at full strength against the Warriors. So we're going to end this video here. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of the videos. All right? You don't want to miss any of the videos. Make sure that you comment so we can have conversations in the comment section about this video and about basketball in general or football. But we're not in football season yet, but that's coming. All right? Make sure you look out for that. Soon you're going to see a lot of Philadelphia Eagle green on here. So, don't hate me because you ain't me when it comes to that. So I appreciate you guys. Very humble. Much love. Can tell that somehow you're never getting